Welcome to my channel and thank you for joining me today. I know many of you watching are parents in your 60s, 70s, or even 80s, and you've spent a lifetime taking care of your family. You've watched your children grow, stumble, get back up, and become adults themselves. But maybe now you're finding that they rely on you a bit too much, and it's starting to wear on your health, your finances, or your peace of mind. If you're feeling guilty for even thinking about wanting more space, please know you're not alone. I've been there myself, and today I want to share what I've learned about how to handle adult children who rely on you too much without losing the love you have for them or yourself in the process. You see, when my son turned 30, he hit a rough patch after losing his job. At first, I was glad to help him, letting him move back in, paying some of his bills, and giving him rides everywhere since he sold his car to cover some debts. It felt good to be needed, and I told myself it was just temporary. But weeks turned into months, and months turned into nearly 2 years. I found myself paying for groceries, utilities, and sometimes even his phone bill while he stayed in his room, scrolling on his phone or gaming, telling me he was looking for the right job. I started to feel resentment, but every time I tried to bring it up, I felt like a bad parent. I worried he'd think I didn't love him. But what I didn't realize then was that by continuing to support him without clear boundaries, I wasn't helping him grow up, and I was draining my own energy and savings that I needed for my own retirement. One morning, I woke up with a tightness in my chest, worried about paying the property tax bill and the rising grocery costs, and I realized this wasn't sustainable. I sat down with him, and for the first time, I calmly explained how I was feeling. I told him I loved him, but I needed to take care of myself too. It wasn't easy, but we agreed on a timeline for him to find work and start contributing to household expenses. We created a list of small steps, updating his resume, applying to jobs, and scheduling a check-in every week to track his progress. At first, there was tension and he felt like I was abandoning him, but over time he started taking responsibility, and I started feeling lighter, freer, and more like myself again. If you're in a similar situation, here's what I've learned. First, remember that it's not selfish to set boundaries, it's necessary. You've spent decades caring for your family, but now it's time to care for yourself too. Start by having an honest conversation with your adult child. Let them know you love them, but you need to create a path toward independence. Use I statements like, I need to ensure I can afford my medical care and retirement, and I'm feeling overwhelmed by the current situation. This makes it clear that your boundaries are about your needs, not an attack on them. Next, create a clear plan together. Set a timeline for when they will start paying for certain bills or when they will move out. You can even write this down together so that both of you understand the expectations. Encourage them to seek job opportunities, even if it's not their dream job right away. Taking steps toward independence will help them build confidence and take control of their life, which is far more beneficial than constant dependence. It's also important to examine why we sometimes continue to allow this dynamic. For me, I realized it made me feel needed, and as I aged, I was afraid of loneliness if he left. But I came to understand that I could have a relationship with my son without having to fix everything for him, and that real love sometimes means letting them face their own challenges so they can grow. It's okay to say no with kindness, and it's okay to step back. Another key part of this journey is finding your own identity beyond being a caregiver. Many of us, especially as we age, feel that our purpose is tied solely to helping our family. But I found that when I reclaimed time for my own interests, gardening, attending a book club, walking with neighbors, I felt more fulfilled, and my interactions with my son became healthier. I was no longer resentful because I was no longer sacrificing everything for him. This improved our relationship, and it helped him see that it's possible to live a balanced life. Financial boundaries are equally important. If you're constantly paying their bills, covering their debts, or allowing them to live rent-free indefinitely, it can put your financial security at risk. You've worked hard to build your retirement savings, and it's okay to protect them. You can help your children in other ways, like guiding them to financial counseling or teaching them budgeting skills, but it's not your responsibility to rescue them from every financial mistake, especially at the cost of your own security. I also recommend seeking support from others going through similar experiences. Joining a local support group or even online forums for parents of adult children can help you feel less alone and give you practical advice on navigating these conversations. Speaking to a counselor can also help you work through any guilt or fear you might have about setting boundaries. Let me tell you, the day my son moved into his own apartment was bittersweet. I missed having him around, but I also felt a wave of relief, knowing that I had given him the tools to stand on his own while reclaiming my own peace. Our relationship improved because our conversations became about sharing our lives, not about bills or arguments over household chores. We both grew stronger, and I finally found the time to focus on my health, my friendships, and the hobbies I had put aside for too long. If you are watching this and thinking, "But my child will hate me if I set boundaries," remember this: real love is not about sacrificing yourself endlessly. It's about supporting your child and becoming a capable, independent adult while taking care of your well-being. You can love them and still say no. You can support them emotionally while refusing to enable dependence. As you consider your next steps, I encourage you to pause for a moment and truly reflect on what you want your later years to look like. This may sound simple, but for many of us who have spent decades putting everyone else first, it's one of the hardest things to do. We are so used to caring for our children, our spouses, and even our grandchildren, ensuring everyone's needs are met before we even think to consider our own desires. But now, as you step into this next chapter of your life, it's time to ask yourself some important questions. What do you truly want your days to look like from this moment on? What does a fulfilled, peaceful, and joyful life look like to you? Do you see yourself traveling to places you've always dreamed of, places you saw in magazines or television years ago, but put aside because life was busy and money was tight? Perhaps you've wanted to stroll down cobblestone streets in Europe, sit by the ocean with your toes in the sand, or take a road trip across the country, stopping at small diners and local markets, meeting people and experiencing the freedom you deserve. Or maybe you imagine spending time with friends without feeling rushed, enjoying leisurely lunches, laughing over stories of your youth, and creating new memories together that make your heart feel light. Or perhaps what calls to your heart are the hobbies you've tucked away for someday. Maybe you've always wanted to learn to paint, play a musical instrument, or join a choir. Maybe your joy comes from working in your garden, growing flowers and vegetables, feeling the soil in your hands, and watching the life you nurture bloom under the sunlight. Maybe it's about joining a book club, exploring new recipes in the kitchen, learning photography, or volunteering at your local community center, sharing your wisdom and presence with others who need encouragement. These are not small, frivolous dreams. They are vital parts of a life worth living, parts of your identity that deserve attention and nurturing no matter your age. You have every right to want these things. You have spent so many years taking care of your family and building a life for them, and now it's time to honor the life you want to build for yourself. Setting boundaries with your adult children can help protect that vision you hold for your future while allowing you to remain a loving and supportive parent. It is one of the most powerful and loving steps you can take, both for yourself and for your children. It is important to remember that setting boundaries doesn't mean shutting your children out or turning your back on them when they need you. It does not have to be an all-or-nothing choice where you either give everything or give nothing. There is a compassionate middle ground you can find, a space where your children know you are there for them emotionally and morally, but not at the cost of your physical health, mental peace, or financial security. You can still be a parent, but you do not have to sacrifice your entire self in the process. Boundaries are an act of love. When you set boundaries with your adult children, you teach them by example how to respect others, how to become responsible, and how to navigate life's challenges with courage. It allows them to grow, to build their resilience, and to develop their sense of independence. They learn that while you love them deeply, your role is no longer to fix every problem they encounter or to rescue them from every discomfort. Instead, your role is to guide, support, and encourage them as they step fully into their own lives. I understand that this can be incredibly challenging, especially if you have been in a pattern for many years where your adult children lean on you for financial help, emotional support, or even a place to live. You might feel guilty for even thinking about wanting more space or resources for yourself. You may worry that your children will think you do not love them, or you fear conflict that might damage your relationship. These feelings are normal and they deserve compassion. But I want you to know that you are not wrong for wanting to protect your peace and your well-being. When I faced this situation in my own life, I found myself torn between wanting to help my son during a difficult time and realizing that my constant support was holding him back from learning how to stand on his own. I spent countless nights worrying, wondering if I was doing the right thing by pushing him to become independent. It took time, but I came to understand that my constant rescuing was not helping him. It was preventing him from learning how to navigate the challenges of adulthood. One day I sat down with him and explained honestly how I was feeling. I told him I loved him deeply, but I needed to take care of myself too. We worked together to create a plan that included small, achievable steps toward independence. He started looking for jobs, applying for positions that were not perfect but were steps forward. We talked about budgeting, managing bills, and building a routine that would help him build confidence and structure in his life. It wasn't easy. There were days when we both felt frustrated and scared, but over time he began to take responsibility, and I found a sense of peace and relief I hadn't felt in years. If you are considering your own boundaries with your adult children, I encourage you to start with small steps. Have a calm and honest conversation with them. Let them know how much you love them and explain that you also need to ensure you can take care of your health, your finances, and your dreams for your retirement years. Use I statements to share your feelings, such as, I need to make sure I can afford my health care and my living expenses, or, I feel overwhelmed when I am responsible for so many things. Creating a clear plan can help reduce misunderstandings. This may include discussing timelines for when your adult child will start contributing financially, helping with household responsibilities, or making a plan to move into their own space. These conversations can be emotional, but they are essential for building healthier dynamics within your family. You might also consider seeking professional support during this process. Speaking with a counselor or joining a support group for parents can help you process your feelings of guilt or fear while gaining practical strategies for setting and maintaining boundaries. It can also help to talk with friends who have navigated similar situations, as their insights and encouragement can remind you that you are not alone. As you begin to create and honor these boundaries, you may find yourself reclaiming parts of your life that you had put aside for too long. You may discover new passions, rediscover old hobbies, or simply find joy in quiet mornings spent sipping coffee while listening to birds outside your window. You may feel lighter, freer, and more hopeful about the years ahead. Your relationships with your adult children may also improve over time, as they learn to stand on their own and as you shift your relationship from one of constant caretaking to one of mutual respect and support. Financial boundaries are equally important. Many parents continue to provide financial support to adult children out of love, but this can put your own security at risk. It is important to assess your financial needs, including your healthcare, living expenses, and the lifestyle you hope to maintain in retirement. Supporting your children should not come at the cost of your ability to live comfortably and with dignity in your later years. If your children need financial guidance, consider directing them to resources or financial counseling services rather than shouldering the burden yourself. Your later years are a precious chapter of your life, and you deserve to live them fully and joyfully. You have worked hard to reach this point, and it is okay to want to protect the time, energy, and resources you have so that you can live your days with peace and purpose. Whether it's traveling, spending time with friends, pursuing hobbies, volunteering, or simply enjoying quiet moments of reflection, these are dreams worth protecting. Remember, setting boundaries is not about turning away from your children. It is about creating a healthier, more sustainable dynamic that respects both your needs and theirs. It is about showing them that love can coexist with limits, and that independence is a gift that will serve them well throughout their lives. As you take these steps, be gentle with yourself. Change can be challenging and there may be setbacks along the way. You may face moments of doubt, but each small step you take toward honoring your needs is a step toward a more balanced and fulfilling life. Take a deep breath and envision your future. What does it look like? What colors fill your days? What laughter and warmth do you feel? Who are you with, and how do you spend your time? These visions are your compass, guiding you toward a life that honors your journey and your dreams. You are worthy of a life that feels peaceful and joyful. You are worthy of mornings without worry, days filled with activities you love, and evenings spent in the quiet satisfaction of a life well lived. You can love your children and care for yourself. You can support your family while also nurturing your well-being. These things are not mutually exclusive. They are parts of a whole, woven together with intention and love. As you consider your next steps, hold these truths close to your heart. Let them guide your decisions and give you courage when the conversations feel hard. Remember, you have spent many years giving to others, and it is okay to give to yourself now. You are not alone on this journey, and with each boundary you set, you are building a future that honors your life, your dreams, and your legacy. Thank you so much for watching and spending this time with me today. If you found this video helpful, I would be grateful if you considered subscribing to the channel so you won't miss out on more insights about living your best, most fulfilling life after 60 while maintaining strong, healthy family relationships. Please take a moment to share your experience in the comments below. Have you been in a situation where you needed to set boundaries with your adult children? How did you handle it, and what did you learn along the way? Your story could be exactly what another parent needs to hear to find the courage to make positive changes in their own life. Remember, it is never too late to make a change that benefits both you and your family. Each step you take toward creating a healthier balance is a step toward a more peaceful, purposeful, and joyful life. You deserve to live your later years with dignity and freedom while keeping the bonds of love strong within your family. Take care of yourself, keep moving forward, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.